Hi, I'm Mark. This is my October review for Pisces Sun sign and Pisces rising. This month we have 4 planets going direct, which is very positive. We also have a couple of different aspect patterns I'm going to talk about. First of all, we're going to look at Mercury, because Mercury is retrograde and is retrograde until the 18th. This is in your 8th house, but it still means you can work with the energy. And the lesson to be learned with Mercury while he is retrograde is to think and behave more rationally. Get jobs finished. Don't leave things unfinished because you'll get repercussions later on. Also, to be a beacon of truth. Respect truth and impart your knowledge truthfully to others. On the first, we have a sextile between Venus and Pluto, and this brings up very intense emotions. Pluto's in the 11th house, so friends could spark off these emotions. It's also a good time to meet new people. Also on the first, we have a configuration called the kite. Now this is an opposition which is inside a grand trine, and then we have 2 sextiles at the other end. Now the focal planet for this is the Sun. Now the Sun receives all the energy from the harmonious and the opposition. Now the Sun is in the 8th house, so there could be transformations and changes during the next few weeks. This kite aspect stabilizes things, but it also has a tremendous input of dynamic energy, and you can use your skills and abilities and put them to good use. On the third, there's a positive aspect between Mercury and Jupiter. These are both retrograde, and Jupiter's in the 12th house. It's an ideal time to do some behind the scenes work, some planning and some reorganisation that will benefit you later on. Then on the 5th, we have a coming together of the Sun and Mars, and these two always work very well together. This is dynamic energy. This will give you some ambition to get on and do things and to make changes. And it's also a time when you want to assert yourself. On the 6th, we have a new moon. The new moon is in Libra and it's in your 8th house, so the concentration of energy continues around that 8th house. In Libra, it's about achieving balance under this new moon. It's about restoring equilibrium if it's got out of place. And it's also about using your tact and diplomacy and finding a peaceful way forward. Now, the 8th house is about increasing your awareness of others and trying to gain more intimacy within your relationships. It's also about setting out a plan, a financial plan or budget for the future, because shared resources are highlighted as well. And it could be that you have money coming in from an outside source, or it could be that you need to consolidate and make the most of what you've already got. On the 6th, Pluto goes direct in the 11th house and will bring more power to those 11th house issues. Then on the 9th, we have 2 aspects. Mercury makes a conjunction with the Sun-Mars conjunction. This will give you added perception as to what needs changing. With Mars, it will allow you to look and see if you're wasting time and energy on things, where you can cut this back. And also with the Sun, you can look and see where maybe you need to shine up your inner light and see where you can make the most out of your potential. Then on the same day, Venus conjuncts the Moon's South Node. This is in your 10th house of career. So something could come from the past, some kind of karma drama could come up, and it may be that you're facing a battle that you've already won, or maybe that some deja vu, or somebody comes back from the past, or situation reappears. That you need to steer clear of that. You need to focus on the North Node and your future, and the past has got nothing new to teach you, so you can leave it in the past. On the 11th, there's a positive aspect between Chiron and the Black Moon Lilith. Chiron's in the 2nd house. This is about your worth, your value. Maybe wounds in the past where you didn't feel valued. So you can put these to bed now, and you can move on from them. You can move on with confidence, and this is a good time to express your inner emotions and feelings. Also, with the Black Moon in the 4th house, this links you to the past, so there may have been things in the past that were upsetting and that you need to let go of now. And then you can move forward freely with the confidence that you'll be able to express your inner desires freely. Also, Saturn goes direct on that day, and although he's in your 12th house, you may not feel or know it consciously, but unconsciously he'll be helping you and guiding you in the background. On the 13th, Venus makes a positive aspect with Saturn. It's a good opportunity with this aspect to look at your roles and responsibilities, your duties in the career situation or with your chosen path. And it's also good to talk to people, find out what their needs are, and then you're able to express your needs within these relationships as well. Then on the 15th, the Sun makes a positive aspect with Jupiter. Jupiter's in your 12th house of the unconscious, so your unconscious will now be evolving, will be growing. And you may not realise it, but there'll be great progress made in this area. Between the 14th and the 17th, there's an unusual aspect combination, which is very fortunate because it will allow you to make the most of your talents and abilities. It's called a mystic rectangle, and it comprises of two oppositions, and those are filled in by sextiles and trines, so it looks a bit like a A4 envelope. Now, these are across the money houses, where you have Mercury and Chiron, and the career or destiny house and home. So this is between Venus and the Black Moon Lilith. Now, the thing is, and the secret to harness this energy is to keep everything in balance and not concentrate overly on one of those areas, because that will set the whole thing out of balance and you'll lose the harmony created by the positive aspects. So use this to harness your abilities and keep everything in balance. Between the 16th and the 21st we have our second kite configuration, and this time instead of the Sun being the feature, the focus is Mercury. Now during this period, on the 18th, Mercury goes direct, so it'd be interesting to see if you can notice the change or shift in energy during this period. Again, the same as the earlier kite, it will stabilize things and it will allow you again to harness those abilities. So with this aspect and the mystic rectangle, you really should be able to make great progress. On the 17th we have a square between the Sun and Pluto. Now with this aspect, it's a good idea to purge and get rid of things. With Pluto in the 11th house, it's a case of getting rid of worn out goals that you probably have no desire to achieve now. Set new goals. It's a good idea to get rid of any friends that you no longer feel compatible with or have no use for. It's a case of purging everything you can so that you can make way for new. Nature abhors a vacuum, so if you create that vacuum, it has to be filled with something, and hopefully something that's new and positive. Then on the next day there is not only Mercury going direct, but also Jupiter goes direct, and Jupiter makes an aspect with Mars on that first day. Now remember, Jupiter's in the 12th house, so it's a good time to work behind the scenes. It's a good time to plan things, maybe work on a project, because when Jupiter goes into the first house, things will all come out in the open. So use the energy well. It lasts for 3 days. If you can't use it in a physical sense, do some exercise so to stop the irritability or frustrations that can sometimes come with Mars. On the 20th we have a full moon. The full moon's in Aries and it's in your second house. Now the full moon in Aries is about trying new things. It's a new beginning, a new start, new experiences, everything that's new. So this is quite an exciting full moon. And then with all full moons you can reap the benefit of the past, and being in your second house there may be financial gains from this full moon if you've put the work in earlier. Reap the harvest. Also, it's about your values as well. What do you value? Maybe there's some things that you don't really value anymore, so it's time to get rid of those, to bring in new things and perhaps update your value system. On the 21st, there's a very powerful square between Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars is in the 8th house, which is the sign of Scorpio, which he co-rules with Pluto. So there's a lot of scorpionic energy connected here. Now, this is very intense, so you must channel it well. You must use it in a physical sense. If you've got a project or something that you need to immerse yourself into, that would be fantastic. If not, you'll need to do some exercise to use up some of that energy so that it doesn't backfire on you. So if it turns inward, it can cause you irritability or frustrations. And the other word of warning is, on a day like this, you could come up against someone who's trying to be dominant themselves. They could be quite aggressive, so avoid confrontation. Then on the 26th, you couldn't get a more different aspect. This is a square between Venus and Neptune. This is a very peaceful, it's almost like a dreamy day when your mind will be inspired to be imaginative and creative, but certainly it's not a day for physical energy. On the 28th, Venus makes a positive aspect to Jupiter. Now, these two together is very good for relating well with other people. It's good for business and commerce, and it's very good for finances as well. Then on the 29th, we have a difficult aspect when the Sun makes a square to Saturn. Now, Saturn may limit the Sun on this day, so you may find that your plans don't go too well, and that you may have to make adjustments. Also, there may be challenges to your beliefs, and there could be some highlighted weaknesses or something highlighted, some issues highlighted that you may have to attend to. And if they do come up, you need to attend to them straight away, because they will only resurface at a later date if you avoid them at this time. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the October review. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. If you'd like to leave me a comment, I'll be glad to hear from you.